to our channel Knowledge Keen, and today we are going to see another interesting concept of JavaScript, that is functions. Functions are one of the most important pillars that we have in JavaScript, and let's see how this pillar works. Okay, functions can be defined in multiple ways. So let's see some example on how to create a function, how to use it, and before doing that, let's take a simple understanding of what functions are. Okay, let's take an example that you have a company. Basically, you are an owner of a company and you have 5 employees which do the same work in same amount of time, and basically you only need one employee to do the work. What do you think? Are you going to keep those 5 employees as it is, or you're just going to keep one employee for the betterment of the process? Definitely your answer would be, I'll not keep those 5 employees, but instead of that I can keep one employee who can do the same work for me. Function basically relies on the same principle. Okay, so let's take an example. If you are writing a very huge program, and what that program does is basically addition of 2 numbers. Okay, let's take a simple example, that is addition of 2 numbers. So in my program, if I'm doing the same addition of 2 numbers 10 times, then what is the meaning of writing the same thing again and again? Instead of defining the addition 10 times, what I can do is I can write one simple function which will just do the addition and give me the result. Okay, so function does that. So it's as simple as, consider it as one of your helper who does the work for you and just gives you the output. So let's see how we can write a function. Function is basically written using the keyword function. Okay, so we are defining a function. Basically, we are naming a function as well. Let's take the same example that I am doing the function sum. Okay, this way, function keyword space the name of your function. The name can be anything. Okay, it can be in smalls, it can be in caps, it doesn't matter. But JavaScript is case sensitive. If you're defining the name in caps, you should call it. So if you're writing a function, you are going to always call it. So we are going to see that. But let's say that we have written a function sum, the brackets, round parenthesis, and the brace parenthesis, basically the brace brackets. So inside this function would be your all the code that you want to write. How your program will understand when to call this function? By calling out its name. Okay, if you see this, the editor itself is very smart and it's trying to say whatever you are seeing in blue colors, those are properties, but whatever you see in purple color, that are methods. Methods you can always call using round brackets. So let's see, to make it more simple, let's just print a console. Hello world. Okay, I am writing a function and then console.log, I am just printing something console, and after that I am calling it. Let's run this quickly and see what is the output. You can see we have printed the hello world. What do you think what will happen if I just call the function first and then declare it? What will happen? What do you think? So if you call the method first, so whenever you call a function, so we are saying it, you call the function irrespective of whatever number of line it is, the function will be called. Even the call is before or after the function declaration. So your function will be called. If you want to say this, we'll quickly change the message, hello world 1 2 3. Okay, we'll just quickly change the message to see if in actual our function is getting executed. If you refresh it, yes. Even calling the function after it is declared, or even the function is called before it is declared, it doesn't matter. This is a simple way of writing and calling a function. Let's add some variables into this function. Let's say that I add var a equal to 10, var b equal to 20, and I'll just print console.log a plus b. We have seen these examples before. Okay, and we are just going to execute it. 30. So how this program executes it calls the function sum, it automatically comes on this line and starts executing whatever it is there after this brace parenthesis. So it declares a variable way. So now this variable a is only local to this sum function. We have seen this before, the scoping of variables like global and local scope. Okay, to watch that, click on the link here and view our previous video based on variables. So even if I try to run this call this variable a, you'll see that it is undefined. So even if you try to like call this variable, you get an error called as a is not defined. So a is defined, but that is only inside the function. So the function has the variable a has the local scope to that particular function. So this is also an important concept, an interesting one, that variables, whenever you declare, they adapt to the scope of their particular parent. That would be a function, or that would be the complete code. So we try to print this. Now if I call the sum function again, okay, I did this twice, okay, now what will happen? I'll just do a refresh. It called 30 and 30, right? So the n number of times I can just call this function like 100 times and still my function would be executed. This is really interesting. Okay, now I wrote the function once, I defined it only once, and I'm calling it n number of times, right? So this is quite interesting. But each time whenever I'm calling this function, it only returns 30, which is not good, right? What you want to do is you just say function, I'll give you these two variables or these three variables or these n number of variables. You can even pass 1,000 variables to it and just add them and return back to me. You can do that, right? So how we can do that? Let's say that initially I pass 10 and 20. Let's change the values so that our program can understand it and it can quickly return us something new. Okay, so now what we did was, instead of declaring the variables within the function, I'll quickly remove them and I pass two parameters. Basically these are called as parameters to the function. Okay, I'm passing two parameters, comma separated parameters. You can pass n number of parameters. Even you cannot pass the parameters, that is okay. Okay, so what I'm doing is sum x and y. So whenever you are passing the parameters in such a fashion, so the first value will go to the first variable, the second value will be going to the second variable. So now what we can do is, we can quickly say x plus y, and let's see our output. Refresh. So 20, x was 20, y was 30, and x plus y is 50. Let's debug it a bit more. What I will do is, I'll say x is comma x and y is comma y. Let's see what are the values of x and y as well, so you can have a clearer picture. See, x is 20 and y is 30. So 20 plus 30 would be 50. Let's do something. Let's just pass some other values so that we can see if our function is working properly. What I'll do, I'll just say 50 and 25. So the result answer should be 75. Now x should have 50 in it and y should have like 25. If I run this quickly, so both our functions would be called. Each time you run it, the function 1 and the function 2 would be executed. So it will get called twice. So initially x was like, the first time it is calling x is 20, y is 30, and the second time it is calling x would become 50 and y would become 25. See the output. And this way you can pass like anything to a function, and that will basically do the whatever you want to do with the program, and it will just come back to you. Okay, this is how a function is always called. Okay, let's see. What I will do is, I will quickly write console.log and I say line 3, console.log line 2, and initially I will say console.log line 1. Okay, let's not get confused. Why I am trying to do this is to show you how the function gets called, and irrespective if the function is declared on the 1000th line, the function will get back to you on the same line from which it is called. To understand this, how this program would be executed, now on line number 1 console.log is there, so your program is interpreted line by line. Basically it is executed line by line. So line number 1 would be called first, console.log line 1, so that would be printed at the beginning. On second line it is sum 20 comma 30, that is called. So what it will do, it will leave rest of the lines as it is, and it will directly come to line number 7. It will jump to line number 7. It will start executing it, and after this function is finished, basically where the brace brackets are completed, at that moment, instead of going to line number 11, it will directly go to from where it was called. So instead of going to line number 11, it will directly jump back to your line number 3 because 2 was completed. And then it will come to 3. It will print this. Again a sum is called. So what it will do, it will simply go back to the sum with the new values. It will do all the calculations that it wants. Whenever it is trying to get finished, instead of going to line number 11, it will go back to line number 5 from where it was called. Basically it will go to line number 4. So now the 4 number line is finished, so it will go to next line, that would be 5th. Let's execute it and see this. So it comes to line number 1, it went into the function, it returned us the output. You can even see the line numbers that I'm trying to print. It came back to line number 2, it went again into the function, did the calculation x plus y, it printed the answer, and it came back to line number 5 again. You can see this. This is the way a function executes. And it is very important to understand how you're giving the call, and when the complete operation is performed by the function, it comes back. So that is very important thing. So this was our default or basic way of defining and declaring a function and also calling it. There is one more way. Now if you try to see this, okay, this function is executing and it is finishing off there and there, but it is not returning something, right? It is just printing the value here in the function itself. I don't want to do that. The first line that I said, you tell something, you give something to the function, tell it to perform the operation and get the result. So to get that result, what you can do is you can return the values as well. So what you can do, instead of printing the values over here, what you can say is just return me the addition. Okay, so what it will do, it will return the values back to a function. So return means it is just throwing the values, okay, back to where it was called. So whenever something is thrown at you, what you do? You catch it, right? The function does the same thing. The function call will do the same thing. I threw some value from here. Let me just remove these consoles, previous consoles. I don't need them. Even I don't need the new value. Let's understand the simplicity of it first. So whenever some value is being thrown by a function, you can catch it in a variable. So I'll say answer is my sum. Okay, and then basically what I will do, answer is my answer. What I'm doing, whatever is been thrown by the function, I'll just print it. So let's see, execute it. See how it executed. It came here. So as I always say, in the assignment operator, right hand side things are executed first, right? So it will always go to the sum function first. The whole thing is executed and it is returned. So what I'm returning, I'm doing the addition and then returning. Okay, return, make it a most important note that return can only and only return one single value. It cannot return multiple values. You cannot say return x comma y. Okay, that is never gonna happen. This is a most important thing and even an important concept in an interview. So return always returns one single value. That's it. That's a thumb rule. So whenever I am returning something, it is calculated first. X plus y is done, and the answer is returned back to my variable. So now RHS is complete. Assignment operator, whatever is been thrown by RHS, it puts it into the LHS. So now my answer ANS is having the actual things that are written by the function. Function now returns the total answer and we have our answer. This is the way we define, declare and call the functions. The functions are only till here, and it was quite easy, right? It was quite easy to declare a function and even to call it. So this easy is JavaScript. You can do something so crazily, so easily. So that's the motto of JavaScript. Do something crazy but with the ease. I hope you like this video, and if you like it, please do subscribe, share, click on the bell icon, and do share it with your friends. And please do let me know if you don't understand something from these functions, or if you want to know more about functions. I would definitely like to explain it in more depth. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Take care.